All right, it's January now, and this year's coffee harvest is over. And I've had some people ask, what do you do on a coffee farm after the harvest is over? What do you do with the trees? And of course, what you have to do is prepare them for next year and next season's crop. And the first thing you typically are going to do is you need to prune your trees. And this is very important. It's crucially important, actually, with coffee. It's important with all sorts of different fruit trees as well, but in the case of coffee, this will help prevent biennial bearing. That's when you get a huge crop one year and it stresses the tree out, and then you don't get any crop the next year. And in the case of coffee, if there's not enough fertilization for the tree and it has a huge crop, the tree can actually die back, and so it can be a really serious problem. And the easy way to solve that, of course, is to prune off the older. Well, you can prune it in many ways, but around here we'll prune off the older limbs. The older coffee trees and older growth doesn't tend to produce as much coffee cherries anyway. Let's look at this tree here, and you can see what I'm talking about. This one has just been pruned. Here, as I said, this is January right now, and we've had a professional pruner come through here, and you can see the prunings, the dead wood is still lying around. This will get probably ground up pretty soon in a wood chipper, and but it's more important right now to get the wood off of the trees. If you see here, this was just pruned probably a week ago. This is probably a 4-year-old growth right here. And we will typically let, here in Kona, we'll typically let the shoots grow for about 4 years, 3 or 4 seasons, and then we'll remove them. And we'll usually leave 2 to 6 small shoots on the trees, and we'll let those take over. And that's what you see right here. This older growth has been removed, and then the pruner who came through here, he left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these small, see, they're about ½ inch or maybe 1 centimeter thick young limbs. He left them alone, and they will be the next bearing. We call them verticals. If you look up here, you can see on these young limbs right there, these little buds here, those are flowers, and those will start flowering pretty soon. Right there and over here. So you have to get the old wood off and let the new shoots on and let them take over. You keep doing that every year, and it not only helps prevent the biennial bearing, but also, as I said, the older trees tend to turn more into trees and less into fruiting, growing trees and less into fruiting trees, I guess you could say, after a while. So if you want to keep a heavy crop year after year, the thing to do is to prune. And this is a big job. This is one of the reasons why coffee is so much work compared to many other crops. On this field, if you look up, it goes up the hill here, there's over 3,000 of these trees. Somebody has to come through every year, and they have to prune every single one of these trees. It's a lot of work and a lot of expense, and you need somebody who knows what they're doing too, so they don't cut the wrong limbs off. We'll look at the tree here next door. This also was pruned. And as you can see, we've got 1, 2 in this little shoot here, 3, 4, 5. Okay, the average is usually about 4 per tree, 3 to 4 verticals will be left. Now, this is not an instruction video on how to prune. And the reason being is in different parts of the world, they prune differently. In some parts of the world, they actually turn the coffee into bushes, prune them into bushes. What you're looking at here is called a Kona style of pruning, and it's very common in Hawaii. But you go into other parts of the world, they'll be pruning for the same basic reasons, but it will be a completely different pruning method. You can see here this one has 4 big verticals on it. Now if you're going to grow coffee at home in a pot or a container, it may not be as important to you. It might just be more of a hobby and it's something decorative in your house. But if you're looking to bear a lot of coffee cherries every year, at some point during the year after your harvest, you have to prune things back. Look at this tree here. Just look at all the stumps. This tree has been pruned over and over and over again for years. And it still comes back vigorously every season. This is what was taken off right here this season. That was probably taken off again the same time as all the others around here, probably just 2 weeks ago. This was taken off here. These were taken off in previous years. And then the pruner left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 verticals on this tree. A lot of it depends on how of the geometry of the tree, on how many get left. See, this is a split tree here, and he left a couple over here, and 3 of them, actually 4 of them, on that side. Again, it helps if you have a pruner who knows what they're doing. Here you can see some more debris, and your farm is going to be loaded with debris after pruning. The pruners we have here are actually, they're kind of, as they're going, they're wood chipping a lot of this. But it's not done on all the farms. On the neighboring farm, we'll go look at that in a minute, they actually just pruned everything, and now they're waiting for another crew to come along and all at once not take away, but actually wood chip all of the debris that they've accumulated. We'll go look there next. Okay, this is a neighboring farm here. This has a different farm manager, and it has different pruners. But you'll see a very similar pruning style. You can see here, they cut off everything but 3 verticals on that one, and they've left, it looks like, 3 on the next, and the one behind it has 3, and then it has a lot of little shoots too. If there's only a couple of verticals they've left, it looks like they're also leaving, as you can see here, some newer shoots like that. Then over here, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4 verticals on that. That's kind of a double trunk like that, as you can see there. They left 2, and then some shoots on each trunk. Now, if you look in the middle here, you see it's all loaded with debris. The pruners came through here. They didn't remove any of the dead wood. They just tossed it aside. And the neighbor here is waiting for another crew to come in. They'll come in probably with a big wood chipper or something. Be a completely different crew even. They'll come up here, and then they'll drag all of this debris, like you see here. They'll drag it all to the center and then chip it. And they'll try to do that really fast because it's an expensive job also. But they're just waiting for a while to do that. But the crucial pruning part, though, they're all finished with here. There, you can see that tree. They've cut a lot off right there just in the last few weeks, and they left these 2 shoots coming up. Or I should say 2 verticals coming up. There are some little shoots that will be new verticals down at the base there. So this is basically the next step after you're done with your harvest. It's time to get ready for your next season's crop. And what you're basically going to be doing right now is first pruning, and then also they'll be coming in here and fertilizing as well. And you'll probably see a little fertilization going on every month up until the harvest, or I'm sorry, up until the trees start bearing fruit again. Anyway, so that's coffee pruning, and that is a crucial part of running a coffee farm.